friends, today in the subject of economics, we're going to cover the section of perfectly competitive market, which is the perfect competition. So basically we have the other competitions also, which are included in the chapter number 4, like monopoly, oligopoly and monopolistic markets. So in that we're going to see about the perfect competition. So first of all, if we see about the basic characteristics of a perfectly competitive market, we should know what are the examples. So perfect competition market includes like the markets for tomatoes, rice, paddy, and all the other vegetables and fruits. So the basic characteristics is that they have a very large number of sellers included in that particular market. And there are no any entry and exit barriers in the perfectly competitive market. So starting a bank or maybe starting a market for the tomato, it differs. So that's what makes a difference. So there are no any legal or any other kind of protocols included in the entry and exit barriers. And the perfectly competitive market products are perfectly substitutable, which means they are highly homogeneous. So the utility we get from a vegetable is same as the utility we get from any other vegetables. So that one is said as perfectly substitutable. So it's told that whenever the price is determined for a good at a perfectly competitive market, transportation costs are not so much considered as they are considered for the other goods. So there are two main problems considered in a perfectly competitive market, which is one, they should act as the price takers. The other one, they should follow with any other existing technology. It's because though a farmer works hard to introduce a new technology, the costs incurred for that introduction is at last borne by the farmer itself. Whereas any other cost which is determined for himself is not to be influenced into the price because he is being the price taker. So this is how he acts as a price taker. This is the market demand and supply curve, the industry demand and supply curve. This is the firm's demand supply curve. So the price of a good is going to be determined by the whole industry's demand and supply. So one firm is not going to be the influencer for the price. That's why it is considered that the price of any product which is sold at a perfectly competitive market, that person who is the seller is considered as a price taker. So whenever he wants to change the price, the entire demand or the entire supply of this industry should change in order to change the price of a good. So what happens? There is a question, two questions arises where what happens whenever the seller increases or decreases the price other than the determined price from the market. So whenever he increases the price, he will lose his customers, and what happens? He will incur a loss. And if he decreases the price, he will again incur a loss because he won't be able to cover the entire cost. So that we can see how that happens in the other upcoming sessions. So that's what happens whenever he increases or decreases the price other than the determined price. So this is the problem. So after facing these two problems, either he should leave the firm or he should continue at the level of the profit maximizing units. So we'll find out how this happens in a perfectly competitive market. So now, whenever a perfectly competitive firm decides to continue its production, now it should find out the profit at which unit it will get its profit maximization. So there are two methods to find out the profit maximization point. One is the TR and TC method, the other one is the MR is equal to MC method. So TR and TC method is of course a very simple method where we could find the profit maximization unit. So we have now taken a very simple example. If you see here, the number of quantities units we have 0, 1, 2 and 3, and the price is being constant at the perfect competition market, and we have the total revenue. Total revenue is the quantity into price. So we have none, 100, 200 and 300. The total cost amount I have put as a hypothetical amount like 50, 100, 130. So here we have the profit where it is obtained by deducting total cost from the total revenue. So this is how we have the chart here now today, this very simple example. So by looking at this chart itself, we could see at which unit this particular seller can get the highest amount of profit. Is where at the unit number of 2. Whenever this particular seller sells 2 units, he will be getting the highest number of profit, which is 70, which is comparatively higher than the other opportunities. Whereas first he gets a loss, then no any profit or loss, then he gets highest profit, then it starts to reduce. So this is how we can find the higher profit maximization point at a chart. So how we can find it in a graph is that here we have the TC and TR graphs, where these are the loss regions because TC is being more than the TR. So these are the loss regions. So particularly we should now focus into the profit region, and the highest distance from at the point where the highest distance comes from TR and TZ is the point where profit is maximized. So that is the number of 2 units, which is rupees 70. And now we have the separate graph of the profit curve. In that, the profit curve gets a reciprocal shape of U, whereas the highest distance from the horizontal axis, highest distance is here 0.2, which is again the number of, whenever the seller sells 2 units, he will be getting the maximized profit from his production. So before going on to the MR is equal to MC method, there are 2 main important sections that should be focused here. One is that in a perfectly competitive market, price is going to be equal to MR, demand and AR, average revenue. So simply if we see how it happens is that in this example, quantity 0, 1, 2 and 3 and the price is being 10 rupees constant at each and every point. So we know what is total revenue is. Total revenue is price into Q, which is we have 0, 10, 20 and 30. So marginal revenue, how we find the marginal revenue? Delta TR into delta Q. So delta TR is from whenever the delta Q from 0 to 1, the total revenue changes by 1 unit and total revenue again changes by 10 rupees. So by 1 unit and 10 rupees, again 10 over 1 is 10. And again from 1 to 2, the change is 1 unit. From 10 to 20, the change is 10. And again, therefore, change is going to be 10. So that's how MR goes. So thereafter, if we see about average revenue is the total revenue divided by quantity. At this point, 10 divided by 1, it's again 10. 20 divided by 2, it's again 10. 30 divided by 3, it's again 10. So this is how we could prove that price is equal to MR is equal to D into AR. And how we could say that price is equal to demand, because we found that price is equal to MR and AR. But how price is equal to demand is that here we see here the demand curve of a perfectly competitive firm is horizontal, perfectly inelastic. So at that point, perfectly elastic. So at that point, what happens? The demand is going to be horizontally parallel and therefore price is going to be the same as the demand curve. This is how price is equal to MR is equal to DR is equal to AR. So this question has not been asked so far in the past papers. So whenever it's asked just prove how price is equal to MR is equal to DR is equal to AR, this whole thing should be there. So the other important section is that what are the 4 main situations happens in a perfectly competitive firm is that any seller should undergo these 4 situations. 1, the normal profit, and third one, incurring losses but still continuing the production. 4th situation is that closing down the entire production. Right. Now we are going to see the situation of supernormal profit. At a situation of supernormal profit, what happens is that the seller will get a particular amount of profit from his production. So we'll see how it could be explained. First of all, we need to draw a normal graph with the demand curve. So it's a perfectly elastic demand curve where demand is equal to marginal revenue AR. So we'll have a hypothetical amount of price which is here 20. Alright, the price is being 20 in this market. So we have price and quantity here. So first of all, at this method, the point where marginal cost marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, which is here. So it could be said marginal revenue or demand or AR anything, but it's basically said as marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So we're going to draw the marginal cost curve. So this is being the marginal cost curve. So here at the point where marginal cost cuts MR is here. So we'll draw here and we'll take it as 10. So number of units sold at 10 is where this particular seller, this particular firm will get the highest amount of profit. He can maximize his profit. But we cannot find the profit without knowing the total cost. So here we are going to draw next is the average total cost curve. So at the situation of supernormal profit, average total cost curve comes somewhere below the demand curve. So we have AC. So how we are going to find AC is that at the so we found out that number of units should be sold is 10. At the point where number of units sold 10 here, we should find where AC cuts there. So here we found out that this could be like around 50. Alright. So this is being the supernormal profit region. So we'll draw it into numbers. So total revenue is going to be 20 into 10. That is 200. And total cost is going to be 15 into, because our total cost is average cost. The average cost is cost per unit into number of units sold. So 15 into 10, that is 150. So profit is equal to 200 minus 150. So here we get a profit of rupees 50. So this is how a supernormal profit situation works. The next situation is that the normal profit, where the total revenue is going to be equal to the total cost. So how we are going to find? Again, the point where MR is equal to MC is going to be the profit maximization point. But still here at the situation of normal profit, how we are going to explain it? First of all, we have drawn the price curve, demand curve with where AR is equal to MR. Thereafter, we will draw MC. So MC curve. So at the point where MC is equal to MR is going to be where the seller has to do his particular production. So here once again at the number of units 10, what happens? That's where the seller is going to maintain his production level at the unit number of 10. So at the situation of normal profit, the AC curve should be drawn like this. AC. So here see, once again, it's being the same. So at the situation of normal profit, TR is equal to 20 into 10, 200. And same as that, TC is also 20 into 10. Sorry, 20 into 10. So which is 200 rupees. So once again, what happens? The profit is going to be 0. There's no profit here. That's what a normal profit situation is. Third situation is that the firm is going to face a loss, but still it's going to continue its production. So how would that happen? Let's see. So here we have the price 20 and demand is equal to AR is equal to MR. So the point where MC is equal to MR is going to be the production point. So once again its number of units 10. At this point only the production is going to happen. So it's going to face the loss, but still it's going to continue its production. So first of all, it's going to face the loss, which means here average cost curve should be above the demand curve, the price point. So here's where the average cost is going to come. So at the point level of 10, we should see what's AC. Alright, so that will consider as rupees 22. Alright, but it's still facing a loss, but its continuous production is. How is that? Though the AC is more than the price, the unit price, the ABC is being less than the price. So ABC curve should be drawn below the demand curve. This is where it comes. So at the production level of 10, ABC, we could say it's like maybe 18. Yeah. So if you draw into numbers, TR is going to be 20 into 10, that is 200. TC is going to be 22 into 10, that is 220. But TVC is going to be, total variable cost is going to be 18 into 10, 180. So even though it is facing a loss, which is a 20 rupees loss, the TVC is covered by the TR. So what happens is that it said that even though the production firm is facing a loss, if it is capable of covering its total variable cost, or else if the price is capable of covering average variable cost, it can continue its production. The last situation is that at which point the firm is going to close down its production. So here we're going to see that explanation. So here we have the graph where price is 20 and demand is equal to AR is equal to MR. So once again, whenever MC is equal to MR is where the production is going to happen. That's cut at number of units, which is 10. So basically, we're going to see here when and where the firm is going to get closed down. Once again, this is it's going to face a loss. So the AC curve will be above the demand, which is the price point, whereas AC is going to be here, somewhere here. So see, at your number of units 10, the AC is around 25. Alright, so it's facing a loss. But still, the question arises whether the firm is able to cover its variable cost or not. So at which point the firm is going to close down? Whenever it is not even able to cover its average variable cost. Average variable cost is also going to be above the demand. So once again, at the number of units of 10, it's going to cut here, whereas around 22. So at this point, this particular price of 20 is not capable of even covering the average variable cost. So at this point, the firm is going to get closed down. So we'll see into numbers. TR is equal to 20 into 10, 100. 20 into 10, 200. Alright, then TC is equal to 25 into 10, this is 250. Then TBC is going to be, to make sure that it's not even to cover up that, 22 into 10, which is 220 rupees. So at this particular total revenue, this particular price is not even capable of covering the TBC. Therefore, the firm is going to get closed down. These are the 4 situations whereas a firm is going to, perfectly competitive firm will face. So this is a particular definite question we will get from perfect competition section, because usually they used to cover around 5 to 10 marks from this particular section. So definitely make sure that you all are clear in all 4 situations, in drawing them, in explaining them in numbers, in all sort of things, because they will ask questions like what's the close down price, what's the profit maximizing units. So those kind of separate questions are definitely to be asked. So make sure you all practice more and do well.